Dianne Feinstein still on the floor of the Senate, still talking about the basically crimes committed by our government. Now, the focus of this report is crimes committed by the CIA and the contractors working for them. What the report does talk about the CIA's interaction with the White House, but its focus is not the crimes committed by George Bush or Dick Cheney or Don Rumsfeld or Gonzalez or you or Bybee, you know, or Rice. I mean, basically the torture club in the White House. It does not. It only glancingly touches them. So here's the question: how does the Obama White House, President Obama, put an end to this program the day he became president? We are, theoretically at least, outside of Guantanamo, we are no longer torturing people, it seems. And he's been trying to close Guantanamo, and Republicans in Congress have been forbidding him from doing that by law, by legislation that they pass every year. They're doing it again right now. They've been forbidding him from using any federal funds to move prisoners to the United States where they can be tried to court of law and if they're convicted, kept in a U.S. prison. So the lawlessness of the Bush administration has been held in place for 6 years by Republicans in Congress, exclusively Republicans in Congress, for one simple reason. Because they know that when history looks back on 9/11, history will record that George W. Bush and Dick Cheney went insane. That they were so terrified, these frightened little men, that rather than rising to in the tradition of America, rather than rising and saying, we are bigger than this, we can deal with this, don't worry, we've got this. Rather than saying that, they say, oh my God, do something. Hey, quick, beat somebody up. That's essentially the message. Kill somebody before they kill us. Got to kill them before they kill again, right? I mean, this is George Bush executing over 400 people as governor of Texas. This is George Bush executing over 100,000 people as president, mostly in Iraq and Afghanistan. This is George W. Bush overseeing the death of over 4,000 or 5,000 American soldiers, and we don't know how many contractors. So how can the Obama administration, I mean, having stopped this, how can they now say we're going to atone for this? We're going to clean this up. Well, the first thing that needs to be done is acknowledge what we've done, and that's what Dianne Feinstein is doing right now. God bless her. This is so much stronger than I expected. I'm just blown away by this. And she keeps saying, this is just the surface, right? This is just the beginning. There's a 6,000-page report behind this that you and I will never see in all probability. Although Mark Udall has been threatening to read it into the congressional record. I think his threat has been mostly about this summary that she's releasing right now. So how can President Obama say to the world, yes, George W. Bush committed a crime. Dick Cheney committed a crime. Don Rumsfeld committed a crime. Condoleezza Rice committed a crime. Antonio Gonzalez is Antonio, right? Alberto, thank you. Alberto Gonzalez committed a crime. The director of the CIA committed crimes. These particular contractors, here's the names of the contractors and the names of their CEOs. They committed crimes. These individuals in the field committed crimes. Come up with a list. Dianne Feinstein says it's only a few hundred people. That within the CIA, it might be as few as 80 people who really knew what was going on and encouraged it. Come up with that list and issue an explicit pardon naming names. Because there is no chance any of these people are ever going to be prosecuted here in the United States. And this presidency is going to pass away in another year and a half, just a little short of 2 years. Well, it'll be a little more than 2 years, actually. And, for the inauguration of the next president. But this is the last chance that Obama has. So how does he say to the world, yes, we acknowledge we committed crimes? How does he draw a bright line between the spirit of America that was reflected as in that clip I shared from Hillary Clinton, the story I shared with you about how the Hague Convention, which could theoretically be used to prosecute George W. Bush, was in first draft written by Abraham Lincoln as a narrative about how the Union forces would treat the Confederate soldiers, prisoners of war. George Washington saying, give them no reason to complain about it. Now, the Confederates, some of the Confederate prisons where they held the Union soldiers were hellholes. And I'm sure that there were a few on the Union side, too. But Lincoln, at the end of the war, explicitly came out with this Lieber I keep wanting to call it treaty, Lieber Code. Lieber is German for free, I believe. That became the defining, the definition of who we are and what we do. We opposed chemical weapons in World War I. Now, yeah, we were the first nation to use a nuclear bomb in World War II. It's still hotly debated in the United States, but we aggressively worked to, well, I don't know. I don't want to polish America's apple too much because, we've screwed up here and there. But the fact of the matter is that history indicates that over time we get better. Right? That's one of the incredible things about this country. We learn from our mistakes and we get better. Whether the mistake was slavery, whether the mistake was the disenfranchisement of women, whether the mistake was deregulating capitalism in the 1920s and again in the 1980s. We see these, or in this case, deregulating the CIA, saying, go do whatever you want. And the worst of human nature coming out. The way to clean this up is for President Obama to issue a pardon.